Now, the Thai news agency reporter Panu Wongsha'um had the chance to conduct an exclusive interview with Dr. Surin Pitsuwan, the Secretary General of ASEAN, at the 18th ASEAN Summit in Jakarta, Indonesia. The interview touched on a number of issues, ranging from the Thai-Cambodian border conflict, the prospect of Myanmar's chairmanship of ASEAN in the year 2014, ASEAN's connectivity master plan, and people-centered ASEAN. We have all the details in this special interview.
Sawasdee krab. Thank you for giving us this interview. Our first question to you, the Thai-Cambodian border situation, what's the latest development there?
Well, both sides have expressed their positions to the summit, and I think the leaders have taken note of their positions, and I understand that they will try to meet at some point during the summit, and all ASEAN member states would like to see this issue resolved, amicably, bilaterally if possible, and as quickly as possible. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be resolved too fast, but as long as it can be contained, as long as it can be kept rather quiet, and no outbursts, no clashes, no violence, no loss of lives or property, then it would be okay. For a long while, since the meeting of the foreign ministers on the 22nd of February, it was rather calm and peaceful, and we were all quite encouraged by that. But then all of a sudden, at the end of April, there was a series of clashes that certainly had worried not only us in ASEAN, but also in the global community as a whole, because the issue had been referred to the UN, and the UN referred back to ASEAN, and therefore it's a common responsibility now for us to make sure that we can contain the situation.
And so far it's been looking, things are looking better from the meeting this week?
I think that there is a willingness to talk, to exchange views, to listen to each other's positions, and all the ASEAN leaders can do is to encourage that, yes, sit down, talk it over, and see if there are some common ground that both sides can meet, and then and explore and expand that common ground further, rather than dwelling on the very, very emotional issues and differences. But I think we have to start somewhere. Yeah.
On the issue of Myanmar chairmanship of ASEAN in the year 2014, has it been discussed at this summit?
At the foreign ministers level, it has been discussed, but there's no definite conclusion, and I understand that the Myanmar government has responded to the idea of inviting the chair of the foreign ministers meeting, which means the foreign minister of Indonesia, to visit in order to understand the situation firsthand, and the foreign minister or foreign secretary of the Philippines has volunteered to come along. So I think that is a good mechanism to assure the leaders that the situation is, appropriate for them to make a decision. I don't think it is appropriate until that is fulfilled. The invitation to go in, but the dates that were offered were in conflict with the schedule of the chair. The chair has not been able to fulfill that mandate. So I think until that process is over, the decision will have to put on hold and see what the development is. Yeah.
Does it bode well then for ASEAN, you think, that issues such as Myanmar transition to democracy or the lack of it is being openly discussed?
This is a turning point of ASEAN. You know, these kind of issues used to be extremely sensitive and out of bound, that you would not discuss, you would not raise the issues internal to a member state or bilateral to any two member states. But things seem to be developing very well. They are willing to discuss, willing to listen, and willing to exchange ideas on these things. That's, I think, is maturity of ASEAN. Yeah.
Following up on last year implementation and plans, the ASEAN Connectivity Master Plan, what are some of the new developments there?
The committee to implement the master plan of ASEAN connectivity has been set up, and they have met, and they certainly will look into the details project by project, and will engage the dialogue partners or the private sector outside, because there is no foreign aid to develop infrastructure anymore. That time is gone. Now it has to be a commercial venture. It has to be based on a profit investment, on a market demand. That if there is an opportunity for investment and there is an investor, entrepreneurs willing to invest, or even what they call public-private partnership, PPP, the government and the private sector from outside or from inside would like to come and participate for a duration, and they will make their money, make their profit. I would say these projects will have to be marketable, will have to be bankable, and will have to be commercially viable. And the member states will have to learn to speak the language of the market. It is not the language of foreign aid anymore.
How do you make ASEAN more people-centered as an organization, as an association, or as a community even?
Well, I mean, the charter says it has to be a people-centered organization, and the leadership this year, Indonesia is certainly making an effort. When Thailand was in the chair, it's also ASEAN for the people. So you see the evolution, and you see that people will have more and more opportunities, space, forum, process, for them to come in and make a contribution. It will have to be participated by, and the ownership has to be felt by the people. Otherwise, it won't be a solid organization. It is no longer the mission of the leaders, of the diplomats, of the ministers, or even of officials. It's now a common journey of all 600 million people on this road to the community. We will achieve by 2015 what we have set out to do, but again, consider that as a work in progress. There is not going to be a deadline that everything is done, finished, no more room for improvement, for progress. That's not true. The EU is going through the same process, the same journey. We will do the same thing, and that is perfecting our organization, our community as we go along. Right now we are looking at the year 2022, not 2015 anymore, beyond 2015.
And that was an exclusive one-on-one interview with the Secretary General of ASEAN. With that, we'll pause for a short break and more news after that.